What a go-home show for Fall Brawl 2000 that wasn't. I'm John Ritlin with the retro review of WCW Thunder from September 13th, 2000. Yeah, 4 days away from pay-per-view, and we had 5 of 6 matches, 4 minutes or under, and a 10-minute 2 out of 3 falls match. Yeah, Vince Russo really hated wrestling. If he didn't, I really have no other explanation for why this show was booked the way it was. So we start off with Jeff Jarrett grabbing Miss Jones, Ernest Cat Miller's assistant, and taking her to the ring later. And then David yells at a guy about being the father of the kid. Yeah, they're still continuing that bullshit. It's going to culminate with David Flair versus Buff Bagwell in the DNA First Blood match. Oh, good God, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I watching this? Oh, yeah, it's because I need to remind myself that wrestling could always be worse. And they also made Mike Tenay a massive sexist on commentary, which at times was kind of funny, and at other times was like, what the fuck? It seems like he was really forcing this. Then Nash and Co., Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett are in the ring talking about their master plan that fooled everybody when Steiner and Nash faced off against each other and then screwed over Booker and Goldberg and Ernest the Cat Miller on the previous Nitro. And when Nash called Scott Steiner Sir Pump-A-Lot, I literally was about to puke because that was just absolutely revolting. It was funny, though. It was actually pretty goddamn funny. But I wonder if the pumping either meant the fact that he was Big Papa Pump or he pumped all the steroids and HGH into him. I know that's mean, but come on. I don't think that there's any denying that at all. It's not like he was the only wrestler doing it, but it was so fucking egregious. Then Nash and Scott hype up their respective Fall Brawl matches. Jarrett yells. We get Miller and Booker racing to the arena, and then they talk, and we get over 10 minutes in, and we're still doing the talking. We're going to have a tag match for the world title. It's going to be Miller and Booker against Nash and Scott Steiner. The winner of the fall gets the title. That worked out so well on Thunder about 4 or 5 months prior. And then Jarrett gets Sting tonight. And then we get a guitar of David Penzer because Mrs. Jones escaped. Then Disco sets up a non-title 3-way match with Hoovy and Ray against the Harris Brothers and Chronic, a tune-up match for Fall Brawl. Disco was getting yelled at a lot, and that was about the only good use for Disco. That was about the only use for Disco, honestly, on any wrestling program at this point. And then Pamela Paulshock, she seems almost lifelike. She's doing the interviews, she does do the interviews, but she decided to do the ring announcing because they literally had nobody else because David Penzer got laid out by a guitar shot. Disco has Tigress as a tag partner, and then the Thrillers talk endlessly, and we are about 20 minutes in before we get Disco and Tigress versus Jindrak and Palumbo. Disco ran away about a minute in. Tigress got pinned after a very safe Shanton bomb, a not-so-safe sit-out powerbomb before that. And, seriously, he almost practically cleared her on that Shanton bomb, but he didn't want to hurt her. Understandable. She's like about all of 120 pounds, and he would have probably killed her. And then the Animals and Thrillers brawl, and nothing means anything. Absolutely nothing. It's all meaningless bullshit. All fucking meaningless. That's what WCW 2000 programming, unfortunately, was. As entertaining as some of it could be, and this show was entertaining in a train wreck way, it just was absolutely bad. Stevie Ray says, after, Tigress had gotten laid out, he says to Shivani, you gotta know your beef from your cornbread. Shivani's response, yes, you do. I don't know why that amused me. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it was just hilarious. And then David beats up the future Slick Johnson, Mark Slick Johnson, the TNA rep that would do all this, and do all the animated stuff, and he would go all crazy. So then we get Disco yelling at the Animals, and they're yelling back at him, and we get the Lava Lamp Lounge with Major Gunn. She doesn't want to be Canadian, but Mike Awesome, confusing her with Canadian, says, I heard you Canadian chicks are hot to trot, and Tenay says she's from California. Shivani, Mike doesn't know that, but which Mike are they talking about? So she gets a massage from Mike Awesome. It sounds like the lead up to a bad porno. And then Skipper gets tossed through the staging, and then Lance Storm gets cornered, and MIA, basically Hugh Morris, yells and says, Major Guns is on the line. I want to have a match. Lance Storm says, fine, get Duggan out of retirement. We'll have a tag match. Because, Jim Duggan retired on the recent Nitro. And then Jarrett strokes Awesome, gross, and then later Duggan agrees. Jarrett laid him out, by the way, laid Awesome out on the couch and everything, through the table. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Why'd they give Mike Awesome a goddamn talking segment? Nash then gets money for a pick with the kid, and then Scott puts his arm right in front of the kid. I mean, obviously, this was done for TV. I'm very sure that they gave the kid a picture and probably a little bit of merch after that, because Scott and Nash apparently are pretty good with kids. And, Shane talks about the scaffold match, the Pittsburgh plunge match. If he doesn't win, he will personally refund all the money, guaranteeing that his team will win. Then we get Shane and Tori versus Kidman and Medusa. It's a Fall Brawl preview. It barely lasts a minute before Kidman and Tori go into the crowd. And STF does not tap Medusa. She won't tap out because Medusa is legit tough. Shane then lets it go, runs into the crowd to the balcony area. Tori almost falls. A bit of a tease. Oh no, Tori might fall. She's not going to fall. And then Kidman talks about, oh no, we're not going to, that's not going to happen right now. I'm going to put you off the scaffold and Shane on Sunday. And then today interviews Ric Flair about the wedding, his future, problems with Russo, his retirement. Rick says Russo was a snake. And then Tenay asks, are you the father of the baby? Because Ric Flair had been humiliated enough, and unfortunately, he's going to be buried in the desert soon after this, by the way. And then show up again on TV a few months later for absolutely no reason, because they hated Ric Flair for some reason. And then David Flair yells at Finlay. That's about one of the last guys you'd want to yell at, to be honest. And then Jarrett and Sting cut some promos for their 2 out of 3 falls match. A slappy chants start before the match starts. A little slap nuts thing. And the match starts at 48:30 and ends at about 58:50, I think. That's really how long it was. It was barely 10 minutes, and there were 10-second rest periods. I mean, I don't know why they bothered having rest periods. Like, have a 30-second rest period between falls at least. I mean, 10 seconds. What the fuck are you going to do? The bell rings. Oh, you get about, 8 breaths, or, 5, 6 breaths in, and then all of a sudden you're back wrestling. We get an announcer's table spot. They go up on the stage. No DQ, no count out, apparently. Low blow, stroke, and Jarrett wins about 5.5 minutes in. And then a sunset flip, second fall to Sting, less than 2 minutes later, about a minute and a half later. And Stinger splash to the ref, and then another. And then a scorpion to Jarrett, and then the ref's not there, but Sting says, ring the bell. Sting says ring the bell, they ring the bell, and Sting's declared the winner. This is a number 1 contenders match, by the way. So all of a sudden, Sting is just able to call his own shots. I have no goddamn idea why they're doing this. It's fucking revolting. And I like Sting, don't get me wrong. I would like to have seen Sting beat Jarrett, but he's just calling it ring the bell. What the fuck is this? What is this? Why is this? How is this? Oh, it's Russo. That's why. We then get Ray and Hoovy versus Chronic and the Harris Brothers triple threat match, and Disco is yelled at on commentary. Keeps asking permission and keeps getting cut down when he wants to talk. And high time to the Harris Brothers. The match was maybe 2 minutes. I mean, Ray and Hoovy didn't get pinned. They were the tag champs at the time and defended them at Fall Brawl, but good lord. And a barbed wire bat to Adams' face from one of the Harris Brothers. I can't tell them apart. I know they both have Nazi tattoos, but whatever. David then calls Miss Hancock to the ring and then yells and yelling. And then Arn says, women are like buses. One comes along every 20 minutes. Hooray for sexism in wrestling in 2000. Yikes. Yikes. And then Miss Hancock will not reveal who the father of the baby is. I don't remember. I think it was Buff Bagwell. I don't actually remember. I think it dropped the storyline soon afterwards because no woman could fake being pregnant, even if they gave her prosthetics and whatever. Fucking ridiculous. Duggan is suddenly laid out backstage, so Hugh Morris has to go it alone against Skipper and Storm, and he almost beats him, but then gets caught in the maple leaf. Duggan stumbling down, trying to get in the ring, but no, a tap out. Major Gunn stays with Team Canada. Nash and Scott versus Booker and Miller, world title match. 4 minutes. It was a 4-minute match. Actually, the match started with 4 minutes left, so maybe it was like 3. A motorcycle just suddenly shows up in the arena. Somebody riding a motorcycle. It's Goldberg. Big shock because he hadn't been on the show. He speared Scott Steiner. We get a DQ. So, therefore, I guess the title stays with Nash, and we get Fall Brawl going off without a hitch. Until Fall Brawl happens, easy for me to say, and we get nothing but hitches and hiccups and everything. And that show, I'm not looking forward to it, but the sad thing is it's probably the last good pay-per-view that WCW did until the end. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.